Hi all, this is Lasan Jong, a.k.a. the Democrat Killer. This video is for my friend Jesse D. Whenever I go to a steak restaurant, I like to have my steak charred on the outside. And depending on the cut, rare, medium, or medium. And inevitably, there's one or two people that comment about how I shouldn't be eating burnt food because it causes cancer. And that science has proven this to be true. Oh, really? Well, guess what? I don't believe you, is what I typically tell them. And they're like, well, no, there's evidence and data and scientific papers and this and that. Great. Let me ask you something. How are these experiments conducted? And inevitably they tell you, scientists feed mice a bunch of burnt food, and then over a time period, I forget what it is, mice tend to develop cancer, and those that did not eat the burnt food tend not to. Oh, really? So that, you think, proves that burnt food causes cancer in humans. And inevitably they will go, yeah, well, of course. First of all, the physiology between humans and mice are different. But let's just leave that aside. Man discovered fire 1 million years ago and have been cooking food just about since then. And they would have eaten anything and everything, regardless of whether it was burnt or not, because hunting was tough and it was hard to find food. On the other hand, mice probably, which came around, I think this species of mice came around 12 million years ago, were eating, grains, fruits, berries, whatever they could find that was pretty much agrarian. So the history of man is that we've been eating burnt food for 1 million years. Mice, on the other hand, have generally never eaten burnt food. So even if it were true that at some point burnt food did cause cancer in humans, those with a weak gene that are susceptible to that, their roots probably died out. And the remaining humans probably are fairly resilient towards burnt food. Mice, on the other hand, since they've never had burnt food or rarely ever have had burnt food, probably even a little bit on a consistent basis would probably cause some sort of an ailment. So if you take that into consideration, how valid is that science experiment? That's the question, isn't it? And the thing of it is that most people, when they hear science, data, and research paper, think they've lost the argument. No, not at all. Like any and all arguments, what matters is the assumption. Again, if you build a 100-story building on top of quicksand, not going to last very long. On the other hand, if you drill into the granite bedrock of New York City and build a 100-story building, short of a supernatural catastrophe, that building's going to last. And that's the difference between having good assumptions and bad assumptions. And no matter how beautiful the logic is that you build upon those assumptions, if the assumptions are bad, the logic is meaningless. It will collapse. And if the assumptions are good and the logic is good, you're always going to win the argument. And therein lies the reason why most people do not know how to think, how to reason, and therefore draw the right conclusions. And therein lies one of the stupidest things that one can do, which is, all else being equal, doesn't dig into the assumptions. And that is one of the biggest reasons why that argument is dumb. Well, I should say another reason why it's dumb. So think of every time you hear an argument about something or another, don't just accept it at face value. Dig into the assumptions underlying the argument and see if that underlying assumption or assumptions are correct and reasonable. If you like this video, please post a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Have a good day.